Yansia Kase Bosso and Yumere and some who do a big approach. Some of our falas no koja bona so you. Yes, yet Nasabakan can in area somo. Kasebo Information Centers are targeted also. Abba for Consi Sikka FM online.com. Africana Radio Modern Ghana Kasebo no more Facebook Live. Sikka FM 895 Live. YouTube is Sikka FM 895 official. TikTok and X at Sikka FM. And you may yada Roma. And some idea by some Nodia Makotribi in ye. Welcome to Shabedjamo Bedjako Bamba some aso ranking member and a chairman Nakasa wa amodia to just a one more and post signing IGP at Nasi Ayesha Mudia Ayakwan Pomba Faswa one more Ababo Abato buying and I see a quatoba Bambo Mubai Titu and it's Abrea Yakoto Akotie. I must say also for Honorable Haruna Idrisu so they are to just set a bine besha this Yahudo Egwakoma. Akronkre any afi private schools no ejina na accountability series no honorable kwabra minta kanda wahwe mpomre hu nsam so na ekoye wode akwakwatu dwase ayasa bia hudo bebre e wo man mu aban eba bepegem Chairman Dema MPP National Delegates Conference Planning Committee Honorable Joseph Osewusu and also the two just set Yami Adumo China annual delegates conference here Baswe motions a gua paswa delegates equal to one babro edunum. Now so far share the drama more and afe ahensamni osumu some aso Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim area two just set krata bia woko birth and death registry na so koye birth certificate ya anke ade wo nsam go so ni ade ama wo na ade certificate na san ye afedie ye de bia koho and so Mineral Development Fund empanyin for any MMDC se wasante mantamu ha ekokunwase atwetwe komo sama wodo ekom ye de bra Kasebo yemo enwumere nsam bi ka woni mo ne asini hu nkonwa ba kenkan dia somo akenkan fa wote enkan ye me nantenu ya ba maame efum wa kafena mene ajwa nyako abronma track 1 ye gina so ba Sikka FM track 1 ye ne akro 89.5 e Sikka FM
Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai
ne gana ma ye wiase nyina ka ho afei ye wura esumni mu se de mu samtie ye de e ba besom Yafi asiambra shebedwamo komra shebedwamo a ye wabedwako a wo ka bambo ho nsam na efie bambo ho nsam eso meche Defense and Interior Committee na committee ane IGP post sahine wamo akọ meeting wamo akọ nhyemudia wamo akọ dwendwene nsam ahodo bebre ene hyehye ne bambo ho nsam a wamo akọ dwendwene ho nyasem ketwa na broni bese na eyekokwa mu meeting no ebia kokwa mu nhyemudia defense closed doors meeting no ena omo ne IGP ekoye na omo wie meeting no ena ranking member edema Defense and Interior Committee no Honorable Senator Rollins ena fe chairman no ena fe ranking member no so womu nyina omo mienu nyina da omo wie no omo nsantwefo ekasai ena omo kire nsama hodo akoso awo meeting no ase na omo kire say womu kodi nkomo bebre efafi na ekoi yeko abato so abambo se da posifo bayire bambo mu ho nsam no mukodi ho nkomo titru pa ne de aba ewa kwatia ba election ebe se de omode bambo begu akwam na basabasa ne ho ye ne nano de kosi wa Ablekumanof no ebi NCBM no ho nkomo eno mukodi ye na yenkotie se de titrani adema Interior and Defense Committee of Parliament NFA ranking member no Reverend John Intim Fojo and Dr. Senator Rollins woman central focus for closed doors meeting no
and of course with regards to what happened in the Ablekuma election, these are measures that when are put in place hopefully should help to reduce the tensions around future elections. Certainly this is not going to be a one-off incident where we will have to go to the polls, and we must ensure that we learn lessons from some of these incidents and ensure they do not recur. And as members of both committees who have oversight over these sectors, we intend to follow up to ensure that all recommendations that have been put before the committee will be followed through to a conclusion.
We don't intend to abandon our democracy anytime, and therefore we don't want situations where ballot boxes will be put at police stations in the future, and the citizenry will be afraid to go out to vote because of violence.
And what you penny for me, no, as and so a Kasa Efa. And she shall do a year quite nimono, a buy no any apostle any bamba phone that ye said ye bear to trust some a big cry Emma cry, ye bessia not to trust some Emma Braya Quacotuaba.
We have been reassured of measures that are being put in place to contain the situation and to restore law and order alongside the peace pathway that is being set up with Otumfo.
We as two committees of parliament are working together with state security, with the various ministers related to our public safety sector to ensure that we work together to see a resolution of the conflict in Bako. Bako conflict is a concern to all of us as Ghanaians. We have taken a bipartisan approach. We have taken an approach devoid of politics so that we will be able to achieve creditable resolution and a resolution that is accepted to all parties involved, in the feudal parties involved.
Any aya bedwakua e wamra hye bedwamu a womoka bambo ho nsam titinani ene na bedi akire Dr. Zanato Rollins ene Reverend John Tim Fojo ene omokasa ihemudi a womone IGP ekodiye
yare kasia na ekọ enwumasua ho ensemu ene den so enwumasua soafo Honorable Haruna Idrisu enso ebonan Kase3 Wisconsin International University College ewo enkran matam no hono di tu dwase aban na yekrado de hyehyɛ pa egu akwam ba behye ama enwumasua fam titiri wo mu a wo private schools no omo so anya mu chefa no omo so atumi atere omahiem aboa ama de hye ne adesua ho sab so akonkan ewo yeman mu Honorable Haruna Idrisu se si ahye sa ankran schools no private schools no omo so ye adwuma so de boa ma enwumasua fa no etu pon ewo yeman yi mu eno tira aban no ba so omasene na afi wo boa makade bi omuhie bia eno so atumi aboa ama enwumasua ho sam no man tu pon so atumi akonkan Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
So we hope that you explore avenues for creating a more inclusive framework that supports both public and private education. On our part, we will provide an enabling environment for private higher institutions to continue to do what you are doing. I will conclude by asking a rhetoric question. Imagine what would have happened to the category of students in your school if we never ever exposed and gave you an opportunity of private provision of higher education. Where would those young people have been today? That should explain the contribution you are making to 1, Ghana's human capital development, 2, expanded access to relevant quality higher education, and more importantly to the development of our country. It remains my faith that we are better off with a literate unemployed population than an illiterate unemployed population.
Honorable Haruna Idrisu we and what is so say ojidi amapa say National Teaching Council behye amakwan ama disuafo mo akọ teacher training awie na so la Jesus exam so mo tumi ntwiro ntwae no wo nyina basa akotena se bio wo basa akotwere so hwefoforo ansana August 30th aba na feel la Jesus exams no yetwem e de free omanmu eno sientie.
I trust that the National Teachers Council before end of August, as was announced, give this cohort another opportunity. Like if you are into the final exams of the next cohort of students now be passing out, will not compromise the quality of teachers that we have, that Ghanaians have. So we are submitted to providing for quality teachers.
Any agumasia so for Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Free ngumasia mwe na yankwampombere ho nsam emo wonsa abana di kan be Canada. sa abosome enso ye omabedi wakonwa so yi one ne nkofo ni nyina ebu akonta de akire Ghana fo nti every sector bia wo kirekire mu de akire ye won ba abosome enso aniema ye wo mo aye chese brano no obekoso aye e de amaye se de be ya ye behu amamuo ye wo buo no yeso ye betumi de ani e de akire nti kakra oba bebu akonta e de akire ye no nti sa santwefo hye mu no sentre anase dia da so accountability series ena honorable kwabena minta kando yo no hwe impom de won sam eso ono na duru no so ena okoye wakwa ne nsem bebre ena wakwa akokyeche mpom de aso ho na wode atodwasa abana de bosumi nsia ena esi nanim asupiti bi wo ho no ma ya wo mo niam wewe na ache abana ebo wo mo na sa niam ni nyina wode ni nyina ama wo mo na wapagya asupiti ni mu se de be ya wo bi wo ho dodo na akokopie ho no ma ye benya mfidie ni akade ahodo ede agye nkwa na wo kyese bi kura ho no ma abana frase a wo mo niam bi to ventilators oxygen plant ni ade nyina ye de ma wo mo nti sa no wo chinchina bosumi nsia sina nimu de asupiti ahodo mo niam ehia wo mo na wode ekwakọ mmema wo mo honorable kwabena minta akando.
We inherited several critical infrastructure projects, including the treatment and holding centers at Koforidia, Goso, Asamiso, the infectious disease training centers at Pantine and in King Council, and 10 key rehabilitation projects such as Ifian Kwanta Hospital, La General Hospital, Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, and the reconstruction of the excellent health infrastructure. We have also continued to upgrade key facilities, including the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, Maternity and Children's Block. Hospitals such as Kolebu, Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and Lekman hospitals have received essential equipment, including ventilators and oxygen plants. These are the tools we need to save lives every day. We remain committed to closing infrastructure and equipment gaps through domestic investment and partnership with private sector. However, there are still gaps. Many facilities need renovations, new equipment, and dependable maintenance system. We commit to bridging these gaps through domestic investment and international partnerships, primarily through private partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding these challenges, we remain resolute as part of our firm commitment to fulfilling campaign promises and transforming health care infrastructure, particularly in underserved areas. The government has released funding to every district assembly to support the construction of at least 2 new CHIPS compounds each year. This investment brings quality health services closer and CHIPS compound. There are also several thousands of private health facilities. Together, these form the network of facilities through which we provide health care to the people of Ghana.
MPP amanyokuo gusua ya hobwa nyame ya adumo china omudo omo annual delegates conference no ehyehyɛ so won Kraimansam no emo ene Chama Edema Planning Committee Edema Sa Delegates Conference here baba so kyene Honorable Joseph Osewusu ede abetu dwase nyame adomo akina ye hwe ni mu se delegates wo be pie wo dwuma de yasi ejese enema hodo mako 50 eno mo ba beto aba wo dwakina dwuma de no ase omuso mo motions ahodo enema hodo susu ahodo ankofo de aba mo enase de o ma hye de hu komo de o ma gye to mo meka ho asem no emu 50 ena delegates e ba beto santere aba beto aba ede afaho na wase efri constituencies baburo 300 eno obia de proposal we munye ni sei e beboa eno mo de ama party no amendment committee a omo so ahye edi hu komo asonso anyame adoma kina e bete ho asem bebre ewo annual delegates conference no ase onese twofo akasa nwumri a chem de bekoso kina entie.
In all, we have about a little over 50 motions to be taken.
Because we've seen a document, about 300-page document that was circulated to delegates, but you have 50 motions.
That is the compilation of the various proposals coming from different groups of people. Some of the proposals, or many of the proposals talk to the same issue. You may have one proposal, or one amendment which would have about 50 proposed amendments. So what the motions are doing is consolidate the various issues that come around, and the members will be asked to vote upon those motions.
But even though the proposals are similar, the thinking on how it should be differs. So, for instance, there are those who may think that polling station executives should be increased to 11. There are those who add other offices that pushes it to 19 or 20. How did the motion marry these differences?
Well, that is the work of the Constitutional Review Committee, very experienced one. Frank Davis is very many years my senior, and a few experienced Deputy Attorney General and so on. They have done the consolidation. I can't speak to the procedure they used, but I'm confident that the motions will cover all the areas that people raise issues on our constitution.
I ask this because as a planning committee chair, you would also be interested in how smooth things will go. Are these motions available, the finalized motions that they are going to vote on? Have delegates seen them?
I believe so. They have been printed into a booklet, and I think at the last general National Executive Emergency and National Executive meeting, copies were shown, and from there it will be handed over to the General Secretary, who would circulate it for members to consider.
50 motions in a day's conference can all be considered practically?
Yes, all of them will be considered. We believe that by 4 p.m. we should be done, because it is
overly ambitious, I believe.
You think so? We believe that members should return as soon as the conference is over. We don't intend to host or accommodate members for a second day.
Conference omuwie ya obi afane nyama no obrade fie komo ehia hodo no omukodi ni kira omunya de wiasa obi akọ ni krom Honorable Joseph Osewusujo why so no na MPP National Delegates Conference ya baba so planning committee no on na chairman na also
ade na conference no mo nko na say wo ya pamom
onya me ojo why so omunya o man so bo host obi a so obi ameda honya ehia mu ya Easter convention na nya camp uwie ya fa ba
ko fie so say
omo motent bia mo bia conference na ho say the na Sikka so ho no ma ye fa awie
yes abere sem fidie ni bia
say delegate ko ba bedu nei
ai anadwi as so obi abedu anadwi because no mo che say Nyankopon yare bo charo pa 8 die na manfo abo taking to say the ho ahene ka manfo abo taking pampe ya ba begina ono
so na ebusa aboy ba ko say e ka so bia e completer oti asese so bia wa shut up and down
na wobo
complete
unya sharp and down
say what was any obi akeka shem just why complete
and enta so mo nkeka shem medru ono na
bibia e
complete
almost am one no mawie
almost am one there no there so mo mawie na obi a frase bari fie
yate
asa twa for mo see wo abeko bi no sisi ubi bia anadwi mamo na mo sisi na anadwi
tripod stand bibia so no obi afa
mo tent ne samo tete ase wo mo nye kwan so obi ma beda tse de wo kan hanti anadwi ko a tent abebo no atena se si o machine ho a
utwa bi na
se utwa wi a one boy ya no afa ka ba fie o mapon yanto ya kase ebone so ane enso yankopon wo so afa wo hye hinsam ana fe osum nsam ana dodo amamo ani ni mpuntu ho nsam eso Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim e de atodwa se Ghana 40 ye sa wo ko birth and death registry a wo ko certificate a say ye death certificate o say birth certificate o turi nyina de ko ye bia sa wo ma de bi no akrata bi e be print ho ne ma gusu ama na asa ama ko ye nsem bebre ne so Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim say nyame adom krata na o mu di bi konti e bi wo.
Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to inform this August House that the first batch of the specialized security feature papers have been printed by the Controller and Accountant General Department and supplied to the Birth and Death Registry on 9th of July 2025. to enable the registry to serve the public effectively and efficiently. The Ministry wishes to assure the public that appropriate measures have been instituted to restore uninterrupted service delivery in the birth and death registry. The registry has put in place the following measures to clear the backlog and prevent the reoccurrence of this unfortunate shortage, which affected the operations of the registry. A. Cleared and distributed first consignment of security papers to all regional offices. B. Issued directives to prioritize processing of pending applications. C. Instituted an early warning stock monitoring system to prevent reoccurrence. D. Engage the Controller and Accountant General to plan and initiate procurement process early enough to avoid such challenges.
And here, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim.
And also Mineral Development Fund Management and MMDC so more asante matemuha eko kunyesie eko din komo ni nyinada ye kwan yombe fa so a ombeboa etu galamse ase efa asante matemuha na afei galamse ade ase yensuo ne ensase kwan a ebefa so ebesan ama ensase no yensuo no asan esi ne dadamu ebio ora nowa apia kubi one executive assistant for foreign relations and community engagement Minerals Development Fund on the children the meeting no ekoye
Mineral Development Fund ya na we move back into me by higher say we need can say redressing effect of mining on communities. Mining who's transfer a ma ye kroni nkra ne ya mine MDF ye ho kwan say yesiesie enti emra me take position no His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama appoint ya ma me no yakwa pro north south east and west be too many be yakwa pro ne hu say amna nkrofon kata so no eye problem kese pa homa your communities no nti MDF ye represent communities nti yenya nkrasa MMDC is through the regional minister and then the liaison officer they are meeting omuhia afa adwene ewo kwan ya befa so amna na ededa yenkrom ye kwan ho yensuku ho ankora totomu hu no ye befa so ebekata so na in fact ye saka information no akra no ye ma me etia ne ya chikakra onu man odidumade bi baabi ama yen fund no enti otumi se memra na memfa na no die ne kasa enye den emra meto manim na me ba no ma asoma be ba na ne say bi polluter pays principle 2011 emra na ye president ye vice president no oba kumasa be share MMDC is mo ka say cabinet adhere to say ye be implement polluter pays principle ne polluter pays principle no try say wa obere bi a ebetia ye environment no wona so ubom ka edisiesie enti say we say obi atu o mining why o mining MDF ye say ye dey say illegal mining eye illegal ye wa betu amena we community ni nko ade ye dey ni say bank ni nko bobu se bi enfi baabi ama me kata wa amna so wa betu anya osika no amna no wa na say ubom ka na ye den wo kata so na me ka say ye nyina ye o man ni bi kwatena TV so eyi gold agudie egu TV no so ye man no bi kwatena TV so ba ko ye man ye agudie egu wa no so ma say Chelsea ko betun ya to na say say ni pay wo woni nkata wo so woni mo ni list wo dia ko ye man no wa nkata so a enye say ban be say akosofa
ene ati ye ora Noah Apia Kubi Onona Executive Assistant for Foreign Relations and Community Engagement Minerals Development Fund.
There's a more kind of domo be me de Paris on Bessan Kata so no. I didn't so my harmony as be me de pan. Yedi oha. Yenina some so na nwumre some hodo aye some for falas na koji abode son so no. Son so ma ye no ye mfa nyina ensi ha. Na se wo mode e de manu shuma adwuma for ene tiefo nyina ye reporters okokwa sense wa hene wa ha Fatome akate newsroom kwame fori aboaje wo ho ye some for falas na kwaje abonso wo ho enwumre si wo double fashion center no aka lomo material but fatana wala shinchim fuma no ede amaye social media no de Kelvin na nani pa my sister kuno one heso ede amaye enwumra kenkan for ye me rantie nua ba ma me efum wa kafena mene
Ajwa nyako